All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, I'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJJustJayOK with Just Dimes ENT. What I want to talk about is a very, very serious topic. And to be honest with you guys, I was going back and forth with this for a while because there was a lot of different things I could have did with this story. I could have combined more stories with this one that are actually going on. But I'm telling you guys, Chicago is going crazy right now. And when I say it's going crazy, all I could do is just tell you guys. I can show you guys the story, but I'm telling you, Chicago is a very, very dangerous place right about now. And what this story is going to do is going to illustrate the continued violence that is being perpetuated on our people that are of my skin hue and people that look just like me that are actually committing these things and these heinous acts. All right, so let's go ahead and get it. Now, there were 3 teenagers that were shot Monday afternoon near the Chatham Academy High School in Chicago's Burnside neighborhood, which I believe is Southside Chicago. So if you guys are not familiar with Southside Chicago, then we're about to get you acclimated today. Now, the teens were between the ages of 16, 17, and 18, and were shot on the 9000 block of South Langley at about 4 p.m. just after students were dismissed from school for the day. Now, 3 male individuals were walking eastbound on 91st Street when a vehicle approached these subjects, and the subject got out of the vehicle and fired multiple times, hitting all 3 of them, said Chicago Police Chief Fred Waller. Now, police say they have 2 people of interest in custody, but it's unclear what their roles were in the shooting. They quote, "He just started shooting at one person and he was going in a circle." Now, he just started going in a circle, said the witness, Tierra Smith, and you guys are going to actually see her on video. Now, witnesses described the terrifying moments when an unknown male got out of the car and started shooting at a group of students. They also said, "I saw him shoot multiple times before I jumped in the bushes," said a witness. Now, witnesses said the shooter was wearing a blue mask when he got out of a light-colored sedan. "As soon as I saw the blue mask, I automatically knew to run," said Tierra Smith. Now, Chatham Academy principal Tony Kader Lyons said the shooting of the two of the 3 victims came back to the school to get help. Now, 2 students made it back to the school to the cafeteria looking for assistance and support. They are taught that if they are in the area and they have an issue, to come back to the school for a safe haven. The 3rd student that was shot remained in the alley until the ambulance picked that particular student up, said Lyons. "They were bleeding profusely. We did everything we could to stop the bleeding and keep them calm." Now, here we go. The 16-year-old was shot in the left shoulder and taken to Comer Children's Hospital in critical condition, so that's not good. The 17-year-old was shot in the leg and it is also in critical condition, okay? Now, the 18-year-old was shot in the right arm and left armpit. Now, the 17 and 18-year-old victims were taken to the University of Chicago Hospital, and investigators say they have not yet determined if this was a targeted shooting or if this was a shooting that may have been linked to others earlier in that day. I'm going to read that part to you guys again. Investigators say they have not yet determined if this was a targeted shooting, and I'm going to tell you guys, more than likely it was, or if the shooting may have been linked to others earlier in the day. Hope you guys caught that. They say that there were shootings not earlier that month, not earlier that year, not earlier that decade, earlier the same freaking day. I want you guys to take a pen. I wish I could find my damn pen. I'm going to have to get me a pen. Where's my pen at? Put a pin in that part of the story. We'll come back to it at a later point, okay? Now, here we go. The principal of Chatham High School Academy, Tony Kader Lyons, who was the person that I have in the thumbnail on the video, said the students and staff acted quickly to calm the students down and get them to the hospital as quickly as possible. Now, the students were shot near the high school right after the final bell rang for the day. 2 of those students were in critical condition on Tuesday morning, and one of them has been stabilized, reported by CBS 2's Mike Puccinelli. Now, Kader Lyons said that he plans to meet with students on Tuesday to discuss the shooting. Crisis counselors and extra police officers will be stationed at the school when kids arrive. Now, the teenagers who were shot were walking in a group shortly before 4 p.m. when more than one shooter emerged from an alley inside a light-colored sedan with their faces covered. So that sounds like a targeted shooting to me, okay? Now, the shooters opened fire near 91st and Cottage Grove. Witnesses say they heard as many as 8 shots, but you guys are going to hear from one of the ladies, and she almost doubles that number based on what she says that she heard. Now, victims include a 16-year-old who was shot in the shoulder, a 17-year-old was shot in the leg, and an 18-year-old was struck in his armpit. There wasn't a lot of chaos in terms of staff, Lyons said. We know how to respond appropriately, and we train for these type of things. We go over drills for these type of things, so we acted accordingly, and police have taken 2 people into custody for questioning, but no arrests have been made. I repeat, 0 arrests have been made. It is still unclear whether the victims were intended targets of the shooting. I'm telling you guys, I believe that they were, and I'm going to tell you guys something. It was a lot of things that we trained for when I was in school, whether I was in elementary, middle, or high school, even at the height of gang popularity. And one thing that we never had any training for or had to have any training for was these type of scenarios. I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't know if this is common to you guys to have gang war training or anything like that, but I just wanted to throw that out there, and you guys let me know. Maybe this is normal to you guys. I don't know. But let me go ahead and show you guys the first video. Let me get the fair usage up on the screen, and we're going to go ahead and start because we're going to take this in a few different directions. So let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, here we go.
Begin with breaking news. 3 Chicago high school students shot near their school.
Let's go right to CBS 2's Lauren Victory outside of Chatham Academy with more. Lauren.
Robin, Eric, a school let out at 3:55, and just minutes later, these 3 students were shot right around the corner from their classes. Their friends rushed 2 of them back into their school. That's when teachers and the principal rushed to try to stop the bleeding. Now, this sudden violence happened just outside of the charter school called Chatham Academy. Witnesses say they heard as many as 8 shots. School leaders say 2 gunmen wearing hoodies opened fire into a group of students walking on 91st near Cottage Grove. A 16-year-old was hit in the shoulder, an 18-year-old in his arm and armpit. Another bullet hit a 17-year-old in the leg. Now, 2 of those victims burst back into the school with the help of their peers. The principal says he sprinted to the cafeteria and got to work.
Immediately just went into the mode of looking for things to stop the bleeding, keeping them calm, and making sure that we were constantly calling authorities to make sure that enough response had taken place. They were very scared. Of course, you're shot. Of course, you're going to be scared.
It's a real good school. Like, I'm surprised that it's in the that what happened today. It's a real good school.
Back out here live, you can see a couple of the police officers standing outside of the school. We are told that the victims are all fairly new to Chatham Academy, according to the principal, who also told me that he and teachers train for these sorts of situations, but it has been years since he's had to use these skills. Nobody is in custody. I'm Lauren Victor reporting live in Burnside, CBS 2 News. Robin.
And to be honest with you guys, I'm actually surprised that it doesn't happen more often, especially with this school being on the south side of Chicago, which is, I don't know. Just saying, I thought it would happen more
Judy
often.
and Rob, tonight we know that 2 of the 3 victims are currently in critical condition, according to Chicago police. It's a 16 and 17-year-old, and police do have 2 people of interest in custody, though it is unclear at this point what their role was in this afternoon's shooting.
He just didn't start shooting at one person. He just started boom, 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 boom. No, he going in a circle. Oh my God. He going in a circle.
I want you guys to hear this description again. My people, my people, my people. We have got to have better camera presence. Come on, guys. Is it just me? Am I tripping? Am I really just picking at straws here or what? I think that we definitely have to work on our camera presence if we're gonna be on camera. This looks like a girl that probably goes to school there. Like, why are you letting, I don't know. Letting students on camera after this, just, I don't know, man, just. But I want you guys to listen to this description again, and you tell me if you can make heads or tails of this particular description by a sister that I happen to share a skin hue with. What's up, my guy, Relationship Rehab? What's going on, bro? Listen to this again.
Afternoon shooting.
He just didn't start shooting at one person. He just started doom. No, he going in a circle.
He didn't just shoot at one person. He just started doom. What an awesome description. Doom. Because if you ask me, I believe that anybody that lives in Chicago at this point is doom, right? Sheesh. I'm going to let y'all hear that again.
He just didn't start shooting at one person. He just started doom. No, he going in a circle. Oh my God. He just started doom. No, he going in a circle. Oh my God. He going doom. No, he going in a circle. Oh my God.
And her friend in the background. Oh my God. Tommy, my brother, you have not been wrong yet. I'm just throwing that out there. You never have been wrong. It's never something I've ever questioned when you speak about our sisters and their countenance. That's the word I was looking for.
He just didn't start shooting at one person. He just started doom. No, he going in a circle. Oh my God. He going in a circle.
About how many shots would you say he fired?
About like 16 shots.
Eyewitnesses.
Now, isn't that a big difference between the police reporting 8 shots and 16 shots? That's a huge difference. I want you guys to hear this. How many shots that she thinks she heard?
About how many shots would you say he fired?
About like 16 shots.
Now, do you want to know why I will give her the benefit of the doubt on that? Because guess who was an expert in all of these gang shootings and all of this stuff? I would say the people that live there. The people that live there hear this type of thing happen every day, right? Every single day, they hear this type of thing go on. As you can see from the beginning of the video, they actually said that this might have been linked to a shooting earlier that day. So this is a daily occurrence. This is a multiple time a day occurrence. So I would assume that this young lady, as well as her friends, as well as other people that live around those communities, probably are very familiar with how many bullets they actually heard go off.
He going in a circle.
About how many shots would you say he fired?
About like 16 shots.
Eyewitnesses described the terrifying moments when an unknown male got out of a car and started shooting at a group of students.
I saw him shoot multiple times before I jumped in the bushes.
Both eyewitnesses we spoke with say the shooter was wearing a mask when he got out of a light-colored sedan.
As soon as I seen the blue mask, I automatically knew to run.
Chicago police say this happened just after 4 p.m. near Chatham Academy High School. That was just minutes after students were dismissed for the day.
3 male individuals were walking eastbound on 91st Street. A vehicle approached those subjects. A subject got out of the vehicle and fired multiple times, striking all 3.
Tony Kadir Lyons, the school's principal, said after the shooting, 2 of the 3 victims came back to the high school to get help.
They were bleeding profusely. We immediately did everything we can to stop the bleeding, keep them calm.
All 3 victims suffered gunshot wounds in different parts of their body. Police say right now it's unclear what led up to this afternoon shooting. Investigators say they have not yet determined if this was a targeted shooting or if this shooting may have been linked to other ones earlier in the day.
Other shootings earlier in the day. I want you guys to remember that she said that, all right? Let's keep going.
Meantime, 3 students are shot just minutes after leaving class in Chicago's Burnside neighborhood.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me take a pause for the cause real quick. Pandorians actually brought it up. That's perfect because I took a note. And I want you guys to go to YouTube and I want you guys to tell me if I'm wrong about this or not. after the show is over. We got about 158 people watching. Can you guys hit the thumbs up for me, please? If you're going to be on the video, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. Because I'm checking the link here, and I see only 3 people have donated. People that donate all the time. Only 3. And that's okay. Because those people are always showing love to the show. But for everybody else, the only thing that I ask is for people to hit the thumbs up, to share the show, and maybe other people will come in, and maybe other people might want to donate to the show and contribute. But our contribution can come from just something as simple as a thumbs up. All right? Now, what Pandorians brought up is she said, where is BLM protesting about this violence? I want you guys, after this video is over, because this is going to be a real quick show, because I know my points and I want to hit them and get up off of here and let you guys get back to your day. When you guys think about Black Lives Matter as a group, and the fact that they say that all Black lives matter and Black lives should matter, right? I want you guys to think about this. When I was looking up this video, when I was looking up any video on this particular topic, I looked it up a number of different ways. It took me about 3 hours to try to put this one video together. And guess how many people I saw covering this? Cheerios. Not a single person is covering this. Not Black Lives Matter. Not any of these pro-Black YouTubers who keep posting bullcrap in my comment section, telling me that I need to get my statistics correct and this and that and such, and telling me what I need to do with my platform and blah, blah, blah. And I go to look at their channel, and guess how many videos they have about any of the stuff that they're trying to tell me to cover? They have nothing. Not a single video. And I think that's just odd. I think it's really weird. The fact that people want me to make the change, but I'm like, wait a minute. I'm actually in the street. I'm actually going to court. I'm actually doing the videos. I'm actually doing the interviews. I'm actually donating to people. Uh-oh. I have, even in my small amount of finances, I find it in my financial budget to be able to donate to people and their causes and support them and their families. There have been quite a few people that can actually attest to this. So it's kind of weird that people would leave me emails and comments in my comment section and tell me what I should be doing. And I look and see that not a single freaking person has done a thing. Not one single video covered this, which I think is important because it happened on school grounds. Now, what you guys are going to hear in this video in just a little bit is they're going to make it sound like this didn't happen on school grounds when it actually did. Then the people that got shot came into the school. So if the bell had just rang, let's just play the logic game for a moment. So if the school bell just rang and let those kids out of school, it just happened. And next thing you know, as soon as that bell rings, here comes this light colored sedan. Here come the Chicago Southside thugs. Pull up on them. You see the mask. You take off running, and then you hear the shots. So how much time probably elapsed from the time this school ended, from the time that these gangbangers and thugs pulled up and shot at these people leaving the school? How did it not happen on school grounds? To me, I'm looking at these type of things and these small little details, and I'm saying that makes a difference. Why does it make a difference to me? Because of the fact that it happened on school grounds, and I actually have some additional information that I'm going to share with you guys why all of this points towards the hypocrisy of the city and the people, right? There were 0 videos about any of this. So thank you to my sister Pandorians for posting it in the chat. Not one Black Lives Matter person was on the scene, guaranteed.
Police say the gunman fired into a group of high schoolers, then bolted. CBS 2's Lauren Victory live outside the University of Chicago Hospital with the very latest. Lauren.
Rob, a 17-year-old is in critical condition under the care of doctors here. A 16-year-old is also critically injured, and he's in the ER around the corner at Comer Children's Hospital. They and another young man hurt are all charter school students.
Yes, I heard the gunshots.
A sound that was even more horrifying to Nicole Purifoy because it happened right as school let out.
I just jumped up.
What was your immediate thought?
My kids.
Her little ones were safe, but 3 high schoolers are hospitalized instead of doing homework tonight. A gunman hopped out of a light-colored sedan and unloaded.
Hold on, let me hear that again. Let me make sure what I heard.
High schoolers are hospitalized instead of doing their immediate thought.
My kids.
Her little ones were safe, but 3 high schoolers.
Okay, they said her little ones were safe. Thank you, Patterlands. I definitely appreciate that.
Schoolers are hospitalized instead of doing homework tonight. A gunman hopped out of a light-colored sedan and unloaded on a group of Chatham Academy students minutes after they left class.
2 of our students, with the assistance of other students, made it back to the cafeteria, where we immediately rushed and gave them aid and assistance, doing our best to stop the blood.
The principal says violence is rare among his 165 teens, but the adults are prepared just in case.
There wasn't a lot of chaos in terms of the staff. We know how to respond appropriately. We train for these types of things. We go over drills for these types of things.
The gunfire.
They go over drills for these types of things. I just could not imagine. I'm not trying to be funny, guys. I swear to God, I'm not. Chicago, when will you get tired of this? Thank you, Jellyfish Girl. What kind of preparation? Matter of fact, let me ask you guys something. If you think about this, when they talk about the school shootings and mass shootings and all of this stuff, why aren't these type of things classified in quote unquote school shootings? Uh-oh, did we just take the pen out of the book? Whoop. And we're gonna come right back to that part. Here we are. Why is this not classified as a school shooting? Because it happened at a school. Bullets were flying at school students right after class let out. And once they got shot, they went right back into the school to seek help. Why does that not count as a school shooting? Do you guys... What does that smell? You guys smell that? Does that smell like a conspiracy to you? Does that smell like BS to you? It's a little funky in here. Oof. Sheesh. Let's keep going.
Just a few hundred feet from another school, Burnside Elementary, and less than a half mile from the second shooting on 89th just 2 hours earlier. Police say that could be connected to this attack.
We're looking into that right now to see if there is some type of retaliation or some similarities.
Now the focus turns to recovery for the 3 victims and their peers.
Tomorrow morning, we start the day off with a large group to address any emotional, social needs that the students may have.
Chicago police took 2 people into custody shortly after the shooting. I just checked in with investigators. They say those 2 people are still in questioning and not charged yet. I'm Lauren Victor reporting live outside University of Chicago Hospital, CBS 2 News.
Okay. What kind of emotional counseling do these kids need? Like, seriously. What kind of emotional counseling do they actually need when they see this type of thing happen every day? They see people dying down the street from them, people dying at the park, people dying at the gas station, people dying at the convenience store, people dying in the church's chicken parking lot. They dying at the club, they dying in here, they dying there, they dying on the highway. Like, if you ask me, if this type of thing is common, then you would be in a form of either complacency because you have not moved, or shell shock, one or the other. But either way it goes, I don't think any simple counseling is going to make a bit of difference. I just think that's spitting on an open fire. But nonetheless, let's keep going.
will be available for students at Chatham Academy today as 3 classmates recover after being shot right outside of school.
CBS 2's Mike Puccinelli joins us now live from outside the University of Chicago Hospital where those victims were taken. Mike, good morning.
Hi, and the principal of that school says he plans to meet with all of the students today to talk about what happened outside the schoolhouse walls. There will be crisis counselors on hand at the school. Also, extra police will be patrolling in the vicinity when students arrive today. The teenagers were walking in a group just before 4 o'clock in the afternoon when the shooters, with their faces covered, emerged from an alley and opened fire. It happened near 91st and Cottage Grove. The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. Witnesses.
Okay, there you go. So you guys have heard them say it. So I'm going to point out what you guys do not know. They said it did not happen on school grounds, and it did not happen in a safe passage area. There's a reason why they're saying that. So all it takes is just a little bit of research, and I found this out. I'm going to let you guys hear it again, and then I'm going to tell you why this is important.
And the shooters, with their faces covered, emerged from an alley and opened fire. It happened near 91st and Cottage Grove. The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. Witnesses.
Listen to them again. They emphasized it did not happen. They put emphasis on the not. Hear that again.
The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route.
Okay, now, people might want to know what a safe passage route is. So this is what we're going to do. What we're going to do is we're going to look at what is a safe passage route. And again, shout out to Kevin for sending me this story. So here we go. This is Chicago's $8 million push to protect students from gang plan. Now, anxiety simmered in the days before Chicago's school year began. Everyone there knew about the city's intractable gang problems. I've never heard of that word, intractable. Let me look that up. Hard to control or deal with. Okay, there we go. So their intractable gang problem. The explosive violence that came with it and the dangerous shifting territories school children might cross even more often just to get to school. Now, Chicago Public Schools has just gone through the largest school consolidation in U.S. history. 55 schools absorbed students from 49 that closed. I'm going to read that part again. 55 schools absorbed students from 49 schools that closed. We've done a panel about this before. If you guys don't remember, please go back and watch the old shows. But that is super, super, super important. Okay? We now are getting to the point to where they're building more prisons than they are schools. We have more prisons being built and schools shutting down. That is a huge problem. It's something that you guys need to look at, okay? Now, before the first day of class in August, Chicago schools invested $155 million in some that remained open in new science labs, computers, libraries, air conditioning, art rooms, meant to encourage parents to keep their children enrolled. To assuage fears about this journey to school, $8 million was spent to hire 600 additional workers for, quote, Safe Passage, a program that stations the watchful eyes of adults along popular walking routes to schools. I want you guys to absorb that for a moment. Rahm Emanuel. This is why they are calling for his resignation as the mayor of Chicago. $8 million has been invested to have people, 600 people, standing outside as quote-unquote watchful eyes as adults along popular walking routes to school. The watchful eyes. 600. $8 million. The city of Chicago is on watch for the children of Chicago. Mayor Rahm Emanuel bellowed to a roomful of safe passage workers in glowing yellow vests before the school year began. Probably, like somebody said, they might have thought of bulletproof vests as opposed to yellow vests, but nonetheless, let's keep going. Still, critics of the school closing zeroed in on the safe passage, arguing that hundreds of newly hired workers couldn't offer the protection their children needed, and that it wouldn't be necessary if students could attend schools closer to home. I want you guys to tell me something. He's not running for mayor again. That is 100% right. I was going to update you guys, but it was such a short story, I didn't even want to do it. Thank you, my brother Relationship Rehab, who's in the chat. Y'all make sure to subscribe to his channel. But he is 100% right. Rahm Emanuel said he's not going to run next year because he comes up for election next year. So he's just going to not run, but he's going to continue to finish out this crap of a job that he's doing, okay? Now let's keep going. Now, since the closing in the last months of the school, now closing in on the last months of the school year, Chicago schools and Chicago police say that they have no major incidents involving students on safe passage routes near their new schools during operations. In a few instances where an issue arose, police say that the response time by officers was immediate, oftentimes leading to arrest because there were staffing along the route and other city workers. All right, now let me give you the last portion of this story, which I think is going to be very interesting to you guys, and we'll wrap this up. Now, Chicago assault weapons ban, safe passage penalties approved in unanimous city council vote. So here it is, and this is really short. In a rare special session, Chicago aldermen unanimously voted on Wednesday to approve a new assault weapons ban in the city, as well as harsher penalties for gun violations committed in safe passage school zones. I want you guys to absorb this. Really take the time to absorb this, and I'm gonna get up out you guys' ear. Where's my brother Relationship Rehab at? Type something in the chat, bro, and I want you to tell me what you think about this. I want somebody to call out what's wrong with this. I want you guys to tell me what's wrong with them having stronger penalties in safe passage areas. I want somebody to type it in the chat. This time I'm going to be looking at the chat. Now, aldermen voted 46-0 to toughen the existing ban. Aldermen voted 46-0 to toughen the existing ban by broadening the category of guns the city considers assault weapons, Reuter reports. The local ordinance supersedes the new statewide law legalizing concealed carry. Liberals love defenseless citizens. Yes, they do. Let me read what Relationship Rehab said. He said, also, here another fun fact. Rahm Emanuel also has well over $8 million in his campaign fund to be used at his discretion, and he will get a full pension with benefits from the city when he... Wow. Gee whiz. Dang. Wow. Awesome. Thank you. Pandorians caught that part that I was saying. Criminals don't follow the law anyway. So what difference does it make if you strengthen the laws and make harsher penalties? Last time I checked, there are still pretty strict penalties for people that get caught doing crimes. But what do you guys think is the major problem with all of the crime that is being committed in Chicago right now? What's the biggest problem? Look at this story. What is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is, are you ready? They haven't caught anybody. They are not solving murders. The large majority of shootings and murders in the city of Chicago are going unsolved. Uh-oh. Is Just Jay about to get flagged right now? Is Just Jay speaking too much truth right now? Is Just Jay's video gonna not be able to receive ads because people don't like what I have to say up in the Soto you did? Speaking to my awesome people that like to hear the truth and the word and like to come to the light and realize when just things just don't make any good damn sense. Right? Right. Let's keep going. Additionally, the city council voted to impose stiffer penalties for gun crimes committed along school children's safe passage routes. We all have a role to play in building safe communities, Mayor Rahm Emanuel said in an earlier statement according to Fox Chicago. That includes keeping weapons designed for the battlefield off our streets and punishing those who carry or use weapons around school children with stiff penalties, which I can tell you guys is not the law-abiding citizens. Let's keep going. Under the safe passage law, gun violations committed along the safe route to school, near a school, or near a bus stop. I'm going to say that again. This is why I said what they said. This did not happen on school grounds. You guys need me to remind you about what he said? Let me remind you one more time.
The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. The shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route.
Oh, I love this. Thank you guys so much. I'm so glad all my programs are working and they're not freezing up today. Let's keep going. Under the safe passage law, gun violations committed along a safe route to school, near a school, or near a bus stop. By the way, the video just said this did not happen, and they stressed that part, right? On school grounds or near school grounds will be punishable by a maximum fine, $5,000, and a month in jail for first-time offenders. That's the penalty. Punishable by a maximum fine of $5,000 and a month in jail for first-time offenders. Second and third offenses will net fines of up to $15,000, then $20,000, like they're going to pay that, right? With jail sentences increasing to 3 months and then 6 months, respectively. Please. Please, 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 somebody tell me where Black Lives Matter is. Somebody please tell me where any of these poor blacks are right now. The mayor of Chicago can call into the show. Anybody can. I want somebody to explain to me how much sense that makes. If you are shooting around a school, if you are caught, and that's a big, big if you are caught, potentially it is punishable by a maximum fine of $5,000 that they probably not gonna pay, no way, and 30 days in jail for first-time offenders. Second and third-time offenders, 3 to 6 months in jail, and then they get right back out, and then they go do what? Put a pin in that. We'll come back to it. The laws won't be in effect 24 hours a day. I'm going to say that again. The laws will not be in effect 24 hours a day, but in place well before and after school hours. Earlier, the Tribune questioned the impact of a stricter ban, which means there was already a ban in place, with most Chicago crimes committed with handguns rather than assault weapons. Guns that will be classified as assault weapons make up roughly 10% of the weapons confiscated by Chicago police last year. So let's go ahead and finish up this crazy informative video.
Cottage Grove, the shooting did not happen on school property or on a safe passage route. Witnesses say they heard as many as 8 shots 3 teens were struck. A 16-year-old was hit in the shoulder, a 17-year-old was hit in his leg, and an 18-year-old was shot near his armpit. 2 victims were rushed into the school by other students. That's when the Chatham Academy principal says training just kicked in.
There wasn't a lot of chaos in terms of the staff. We know how to respond appropriately. We train for these types of things. We go over drills for these types of things. And so we acted accordingly.
Now, 2 persons of interest were taken into custody. Police have been speaking with them throughout the night, but so far, no one has been charged in this case. Reporting live outside the USC hospitals, Mike.
So, if you have these stricter policies, what difference do they make if nobody's being caught? What difference does it make? Now, I did have a Twitter video I was getting ready to show you guys, but I'm going to speed this up so we can go ahead and get up out of here. I got 2 more videos to show you. I want you guys to listen to this.
With less than 24 hours to go before the start of school, folks pray that safe passage works.
It's all hands on deck. These are our children, and they need us. They need all adults to make sure that this first day of school goes off without a hitch.
Robert Spicer isn't just a Fenger-High dean, he's also pastor of a church in Inglewood.
Look at you, looking handsome, man.
Fresh, man. You half man, half amazing. You're incredible. You ready for the first day of school.
On Facebook, they said they was going to kill us. I had to walk all the way over here just to get beat up. And walk back, now I got to get chased back.
Every day I see more and more kids get shot down because of the gang lines. Kids don't grow up and say, oh, I want to get shot and killed.
The mayor of the city of Chicago and others have to create signs to tell us that this area is safe. I thought we were in Chicago, not Syria. I thought we were in Chicago and not Beirut. I thought we were in America, the United States of America, and not in a foreign land where we hear about wars.
I want you guys to think about what he just said. And oh my goodness, doesn't that sound good for the preacher to say that? Especially with a church full of women like we've talked about before, of my skin hue. No men, just women. But I digress. Let's talk about this. He said, this is not like it's Beirut. This is not like it's in Syria. You're right. It's Chiraq. That's why we call it that. Because the amount of murders that have happened just in Chicago outnumbers 2 recent American wars combined. That should tell you how bad it is and why we label your city as such. It sounds good when you hear the pastor speak like that, but then when you realize what the real reality of it is, then you realize it's just hot air he's speaking right now. It means nothing.
That this area is safe. I thought we were in Chicago, not Syria. I thought we were in Chicago and not Beirut. I thought we were in America, the United States of America, and not in a foreign land where we hear about wars.
Chicago is a war zone. That's exactly what it is. It is Chiraq. It is going to stay Chiraq, and I'm going to continue to keep calling it Chiraq until something different happens. Until then, all I'm going to do is just keep reporting the stories. All the police are going to do is just keep coming in and scraping up the bodies.
The children of the city of Chicago are going to make it because we're going to be right there with them, encouraging them and let them know that you're not by yourself.
They are by themselves. Literally and figuratively, they are by themselves. Why? Because they have no man in the house. We've told you guys thousands of times how important it is to have a man in the house. But let you guys hear it from a different type of pastor who sees things just a little bit differently, that don't live in Chicago. And we're going to wrap this thing up. Shout out to my brother, Reverend Jasper Williams Jr. I'll cut this video specifically, and we're going to use this each and every show that I have to report this BS. And I want you guys to hear it from my guy. Shout out to my brother, Reverend Jasper Williams. Go ahead and let him hear the truth, man.
If you choose to ask me today, do Black Lives Matter? Let me answer like this. No, black lives do not matter. Black lives will not matter. Black lives ought not matter. Black lives should not matter. Black lives must not matter until black people start respecting black lives and stop killing ourselves. Black lives can never matter. If you choose to ask me.
Actually, I did want to hear that again. I want you guys to hit that thumbs up if y'all agree with that. We're going to wrap up with this. I need you guys to hear this one more time. This is the most important part about what he said with regard to what's going on in Chicago. Let's hear it one more time, and we're going to get up out of here, guys. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. Let's hear it one more time for Reverend Jasper Williams Jr. Let's hear it.
Today, do black lives matter? Let me answer like this. No, black lives do not matter. Black lives will not matter. Black lives ought not matter. Black lives should not matter. Black lives must not matter until black people start respecting black lives and stop killing ourselves. Black lives can never matter.
Ooh. Thank you guys so much for joining the show. I think that's how we're going to wrap up each and every show, man. I couldn't have said it any better. Again, shout out to my brother, Reverend Jasper Williams Jr. Y'all make sure and look him up. Y'all make sure and support his Instagram and his Facebook. Give him a thumbs up and all of that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely support that message, and thank you guys for coming to the show. With all jokes aside, I hope that you guys understand the point that I continue to try to point out, that we advocate for children first. Until we can figure out these things, when I talk harsh about the thugs, when I talk harsh about your mayor, when I try to tell you guys that it is important for you to vote in your local elections to get these Democratic folks that do not have your best interests at heart out of office, vote someone else in, get to know your politicians. Go and write them a letter. Tell them what it is that you want before you vote them into office. So you guys are going to be able to start, if you live to see it. Most of you guys in Chicago are going to live to see a new mayor next year. So what you guys need to start doing is you need to gear up your plan for what you want and realize that stricter laws is not going to ever work for people that operate outside the confines of the law. The outlaws, the thugs, the criminals, the gangbangers, the pushers, the thugs are not going to follow the law. The only way that they're going to respect human life is when they cannot disrespect yours and your family. I'll say that again. The only way that these criminals are going to respect your life and your family's life is when you start protecting yourselves, or just get the hell up out of there. If there's some good people there, you might want to move around, get your family, get your kids up out of there, do what you got to do. But like I said, for everybody else, man, make sure and get your plan together for what it is that you want your next mayor to do. And also, if you have to, I'm sorry, y'all gonna have to just go ahead and let Trump make it do what it do. Let him do what he do, and go ahead and bring the SWAT in, clean their asses out, and let's be done with it. All right, but